Hello to everyone. We are so happy that you are here with us today for our Rotary Club meeting, the Rotary Club of Greenville. We are especially honored to have Governor McMaster with us today, so be thinking about your questions now that you would like to ask him later in the program. Welcome to all our Rotarians, of course. It's always great to have you with us. And we would like to ask any of our visitors out there to please put your name and your organization or your business in the chat so that all the rest of us can welcome you to our Rotary Club meeting. And today we will start off our program with the invocation and pledge by George Fletcher.
Let us pray. Father of us all, we ask for your love and compassion as we walk through this year of widespread disease, economic distress, racial unrest, hurricanes, wildfires, and circumstances that we have not known in our lifetime. We ask for wisdom for leaders who bear the load of making decisions with widespread consequences. We pray for those who are sick and all who are caring for them. And we ask for more understanding of all these issues, that we may make choices that will help us to not only protect those most vulnerable, but also show us a better way forward. In your holy name we pray, amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Today I have a special announcement. Michelle Patterson, if you would please unmute yourself. Thank you very much. Many of you know that Michelle has been making masks for many people for several months now. Overall, she has made, I think, 2,600 masks. She's made 100 masks to give out at our upcoming Happy Feet. She's made 550 masks for Alexander Elementary School and over 400 masks for the Shriners Children's Hospital. This is an unbelievable feat. We are so proud of Michelle. And so Michelle, on behalf of our club, you are now a Paul Harris Fellow, which for people who are not aware, that is a privilege of being one who gives to the foundation and Michelle is a great inspiration for us because she is a person of action. So on behalf of the whole club, I will give you this and you also get a pen to go with it, but we are super proud of you and the inspiration you are to all of us. So all of you can clap for Michelle and put all your comments in the comment page about all the great things she does for us and with her many, many masks. Would you like to say anything, Michelle?
Just that you mapped it and add up. I've actually made about 2,000. I've given Shriners probably 1,300. Alexander Elementary got a little over 600. And then I personally have about 12 different ones that I wear. So thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Michelle. Also to let you know that we have a newly updated GreenvilleRotary.org website. So if you have a question about anything that's going on with our club, you can go to our new GreenvilleRotary.org. In fact, there's a donate button on there. So right now, if you want to donate to Happy Feet, which you're going to hear more about later, you can go to our website and select the donate to Rotary charities, and anything between now and the day we have Happy Feet will go to Happy Feet, and also has all the meetings and upcoming events, a calendar. So it's a great new website, and it's the same website that's been updated, and we would like to thank Jason Plikas, who has done a lot of work for us in the past, and he has done this pro bono, so we certainly appreciate it. And Teresa Miller is our public image committee chair, and she's the one that got the ball rolling. So thanks to both of them. So this year, you're very aware that we are Rotary Opens Opportunities, and in our club, we're looking at the opportunities in networking, service, and fun. For networking, we have networking at noon next Thursday, September the 17th. It is a small group networking opportunity, so come share with others what you do in your business or in your organization. You can learn what other Rotarians are doing, and we always discuss a topic of how we are better learning to be successful in today's world. So that's networking at noon, September the 17th. And our next meeting will be September the 22nd. We'll have Tom Barkin, who is the CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond. So I'm sure you'll want to come do that. And since our park cleanup got postponed from last month, this month we have 2 service opportunities. This coming Saturday at 12 o'clock, we'll be cleaning Rotary Park. So bring your gloves, your mask, and a servant spirit to get some work done. If you haven't done that before, it's great fun. And of course, we'll be social distancing, so it'll be a great event. We'll be hearing more about Happy Feet later. I got to be involved with that last year, and it is extremely fun and rewarding event that we do for school children. And speaking of fun, every year, the first Tuesday in October is normally our fall outing. Well, like we've said before, in Rotary this year, we're doing everything different. So this year, our fall outing will be small groups, no more than 12 people, October the 13th at 5:30 in the afternoon. So if you happen to have a driveway or a backyard or a really large indoor space that everybody can social distance, then we're looking for at least 6 volunteers to have different places around the city that we can all get together in small groups at least and see each other. So we're looking forward to that. And like we've said before, now more than ever could be the time that someone you know would like to learn more about Rotary and join us in all our networking, service, and fun. So invite them to come to Discover Rotary. It's an hour-long information session. This one is at 5:30 in the afternoon, September the 15th. So like I said, all the details, all this information is on our newly updated website, greenvillerotary.org. So we look forward to seeing you either this Saturday or the next Saturday and all the other great events we have coming up. And next we'll have Foundation Spotlight with Connie. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. So this is the Rotary Foundation Spotlight, and this is the second installment in our series of emphasis on providing context and some videos and some information just to understand the work and the significance of the Rotary Foundation, both in our community and in the world. So just a reminder about the vision of the Rotary Foundation, and that is to do good in the world. Pretty simple, and they do this by identifying and addressing 6 areas of focus that they deem the greatest humanitarian needs. And just as a reminder again, these are promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, saving mothers and children, supporting education and literacy, and growing local economies. Today, I wanted to focus on just one of them, which is fighting disease. If you looked at the newsletter that came out most recently, the e-newsletter, you saw that polio has been deemed eradicated in Africa. That was one of the last places. I think Pakistan and Afghanistan might have a few cases left, but we're almost there. So that is the thing, that is the disease certainly that Rotary is perhaps most known for fighting. And remember, the Rotarians are people of action. That was one of the phrases that's always used to talk about how collectively, and with the support of many others, obviously, we managed to do that. So, but I wanted to find out if Rotary is doing anything with the current pandemic and doing anything to fight this disease, which is crippling individuals and nations in a different way, certainly than polio. And I found out that we are. So what are we doing as Rotarians? So you already know what our club is doing and maybe some other clubs. You heard about Michelle's masks, which will take some credit of being able to have somebody like Michelle with us to help with that. So we've been supplying food and equipment, asking health experts to speak to our members to give us more education and more information. We found ways to keep meetings and communications going, even though we can't meet in person. We've created additional online networking and discussion opportunities, and we've made an attempt to contact our members individually just to check up. There are many examples of the significant impact the Rotarians have made in their communities during this time of global crisis. And I wanted to share one example of how 900 Rotary clubs got together and joined forces to combat this pandemic. You all know, if you remember early on, Italy was one of the hardest hit and one of the first to lock down its entire country. So Rotarians in 13 regions in Italy consolidated their efforts. And then they also received support from other Rotary clubs, including those in Western Pennsylvania, in Florida, in Minnesota, and in North Carolina, as well as one district in Japan. And their worldwide effort was designed to combat the pandemic, not only immediately, but with an emphasis on trying to figure out how to replicate, expand, and scale a future response if this were ever needed again. So this is Rotarians in action, and I'm just hoping that you'll be impressed.
During this emergency, the 13 Italian Rotary districts, including more than 900 clubs, responded to the crisis with a coordinated strategy, focusing on disease prevention. With the Rotary Italia project, Prevention to Defeat the COVID-19 Pandemic, worth €1,300,000, we want to offer to 28 hospitals in Italy, which are directly involved in the fight against COVID-19, an innovative technology package to minimize the risk of infection of healthcare workers and interrupt the virus transmission. The project aims at equipping each hospital with 2 thermoscanners to instantly detect the presence of fever, a COVID triage unit, an isolated cabin where it's possible to safely perform triage, and a stretcher for transporting the infected patient by protecting the healthcare staff from exposure to the infection. The project aims at responding to the most urgent needs while providing tools that could help healthcare facilities in the long term as well, in the event of another spike in infections or for future research and development. Rotary connects the world, says our motto this year. With this project, we want to allow the world to be able to safely reconnect again in the next future. Together, we can bring positive change to our communities. Together, we can save lives.
So positive change in our communities, fighting disease, saving lives, Rotarians find a way. This was fascinating to me to learn what people and clubs and Rotarians were doing all over the world. So just Google Rotary Club's response to COVID-19. It's very instructive. And if you are inspired to donate to the foundation, there is the link. And as you know, those funds that go to the foundation, they come back in the form of local, district, and global grants to be able to address those 6 areas of focus of the Rotarians. And we've been the beneficiaries of those. So thank you. And next up, President Jane Dyer just reminded us that the 3 things that she is emphasizing are networking, service, and fun. Those are 3 very good reasons to belong to this Rotary Club in particular. So next on the agenda is Christine Braswell-Amin, who is going to bring us something that, in a way, combines all 3 of those. So go ahead, Christine.
So first off, I'd like to apologize for my unprofessional appearance today. I went on a 40-mile bike ride this morning, and I rushed my group to get back because I said I have to be on this Zoom call at noon. So I just have not had a chance to clean up. So I'm very sorry about that. But I am happy to be here to talk about Happy Feet. So if you don't already know, Happy Feet is a project that our Rotary Club does to provide a free pair of shoes to children at Alexander Elementary School whose families just need a little bit of help, especially right now. So Happy Feet will be held on September 19th. That is Saturday, September 19th, from 8 to 10 at the Shoe Department on White Horse Road in Greenville. Alexander Elementary staff will provide us they will identify about 75 families that they feel need some help right now. and they will invite those families to come to the shoe department on September 19th and let their child pick out a pair of shoes. The shoe department has been generous enough to give us a 15% discount on the shoes, so we will be paying approximately $40 a pair. So what do we need from you? Well, money. We need money. We need donations. Right now we've collected about $850, and we still need more. We're talking about 75 children, and at $40 a piece, we're looking at about $3,000. Now, not all 75 kids will show up, but if they do, we would like to be able to provide shoes for every single one. So, donations, 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 $40, please. An email was sent out earlier to all of our Rotary members and had the link on there to donate your money. And wait, hold on a second. I'm sorry, what? What? Oh, hey, I just got information from my husband, who is not a Rotary member, but many of you have met him because he has participated in a lot of Rotary activities, and he has said that his company will match all donations given to Happy Feet this year. So get out your checkbooks, get out your credit card, and get those donations in. Second thing that is important is we do need some volunteers. I've had a few people volunteer, and I really appreciate that. I'd really like to encourage some of our new members, some of our people who have not necessarily volunteered with small projects before. That's the way you meet people. I know that when I first joined Rotary, I immediately jumped into several projects at Alexander Elementary and met people one-on-one, and to this day, every time I walk into a Rotary meeting, I know those people, and we have something in common. So I'd really encourage you, you can just put your name in the chat today, or you can send me an email and just let me know you'd like to volunteer. The way we're going to do it this year to keep people socially distanced is the families that they invite will be broken up into 4 different groups. So there'll be one set of families that are scheduled to come between 8 and 8:30. Then the next set of families will come between 8:30 and 9, et cetera, et cetera. And that will kind of keep people spread out. And of course, everybody will be wearing masks. So don't worry about that. So anyway, okay. 1, September 19th, Happy Feet, 8 to 10. 2, donate. $40 for each pair of shoes. And 3, volunteer to help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Christine. That is so awesome. And for Dave, her husband, to match our donations is just remarkable. We certainly appreciate that. Next up, we have our own Ryan Thackeray with Member News.
Hello there. And here is our member news for September the 8th, for the month of September. And today's member news is sponsored by Christine Braswell Amin and Amin Family Law and Mediation, LLC. Our fellow Rotarian Christine, who you just heard from, has also just opened up a new practice specializing in family law issues such as divorces, custody, child support, and alimony. Although Christine hopes that nobody in our club needs a family law attorney, she knows that most of us know of someone that needs one, especially a lawyer they can trust. Christine believes working hand in hand with her clients to achieve a fair and equitable settlement for their particular case without leaving them bankrupt because of exorbitant legal fees. Imagine that. Christine says she looks out for her client's best interest, not her own. She can practice in any county in South Carolina. And listen up, because here's the offer. Although Christine normally charges a fee for consultations, as a part of this Rotary Member News sponsorship, Christine would be happy to provide a free consultation to anyone in Rotary, or if they're referred by a Rotary Club member. Are you interested in sponsoring next month's Member News? Sponsorship fees are extremely affordable because they're free. Just send me an email with your interest in sponsoring to ryan.thackeray@tnc.org, And please don't forget to send your member news to be shared to that same email address. And here's some more member news for you. Rotarian Kathy McAfee has launched a free, yes, a free weekly series called Networking Coffee Chat. It's a great way to boost your networking confidence, restore your connection power, and meet new people. These 45-minute virtual facilitated gatherings are happening each Friday morning from 10 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time through September 25th. Participation is free, but you have to register. You can learn more at www.networkingcoffeechat.com. And announcement from Ms. Nesbitt, the principal of Alexander Elementary School. Of course, we provided goodie bags for the teachers to help them get started back to the school year in the right way. These goodie bags included t-shirts, laptop stickers, and face masks. Principal Nesbitt said, "Thank you for making this first week back as positive as it has been by making our teachers feel appreciated so they can continue to do the work with our students. Happy to continue to work with our club, to work with the folks at Alexander Elementary School." And Rotarian Yulita Austin and her husband Darian and their other children, Dylan and Drew, recently welcomed the arrival of Devin Yulita Austin. Devin was born on July 16th, 2020, coming in at 7 pounds, 7 ounces, and 20 3/4 inches long. The proud mama moment so far, her daughter can already rock a mohawk, and the family is in all over her. The last score we got, the first night at home score, was Devin 1, Mom and Dad 0. Go figure that. And we hear that Grandpa Rich Hagens, our fellow Rotarian, can't wait to babysit anytime Yulita needs a break. Grandpa Rich is there. And congrats to Giselle Gavings. Giselle learned recently that her show Viable will be headlining the CareNet conference at Disney World Orlando, September 8th through the 11th. Congrats to Giselle and her team. And last but certainly not least, just some things for you all to think about after the Labor Day weekend. I recently read that 4,153,237 people got married last year. Well, not to cause any trouble, but shouldn't that be an even number? Over the Labor Day weekend, just yesterday, a man knocked on my door and he asked for a small donation towards the local swimming pool. So I gave him a glass of water. Did you know that dolphins are so smart that within a few weeks of captivity, they can train people to stand on the very edge of the pool and throw them fish? Money talks, but all mine ever says is goodbye. Just over the weekend, the pharmacist asked me my birthday yet again. I'm pretty sure she's going to get me something this year. Money can't buy happiness, but we all know that it can keep the kids in touch. That's your member news for September. Please send your news my way to be shared with the club. And please make it a great day on purpose. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ryan. That was wonderful and entertaining. You do a great job. We sure do appreciate it. And next, John Kent will introduce the governor for us. Excuse me.
On behalf of the program committee chaired by Ramona Farrell, I am proud to introduce our speaker today, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster. Henry McMaster is the 117th governor of South Carolina. Prior to becoming governor, Governor McMaster served 2 years as lieutenant governor, 8 years as attorney general, and 4 years as United States attorney appointed by President Ronald Reagan. Governor McMaster is married to Peggy McMaster, with whom he has 2 children. Governor McMaster and Mrs. McMaster are members of the First Presbyterian Church of Columbia. Governor, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, John Kent. I appreciate it. It's been delightful listening to all the conversations. I'm a member of the Rotary Club here in Columbia. I guess I'm a senior member, so I don't have to pay dues, but I haven't been able to go lately, and I really do miss it, particularly health and happiness, because I'm always on the road and always need new jokes. So I got a couple of that from Ryan. I might try them out in front of a live audience and see how they work. Thank you. The main thing I'll do is go over a few things I think you might be interested in, and then just answer your questions. And I want to say, first of all, I'm sorry about Hayden Hip. He was a great leader. His whole family, they go way back. His parents and mine were good friends over the years. And there's a lot of great leadership in Greenville County in the area. And he was one of them, and I appreciate it. And we certainly go miss him. I wish the family well. Highways, we always talk about highways. We have a great Secretary of Transportation in Christy Hall. She has a great team. And as you know, we have 9 commissioners that are appointed by me from different constituencies. 2 of them are at large and 7 of them are from the congressional districts. But this time, with the 2 most recent appointments I've made, it'll be I believe the first time ever that we've had the entire upstate there covered, the I-85 corridor covered with people from that area. And because Woody Woolard is from Spartanburg, and he's on the Highway Commission now, as again one of 9. And I'm appointing 2 more. One is Nancy Whitworth, who worked for the city of Greenville from 1979 through 2019. And she retired as interim city manager, and now as a consultant with the Spartanburg Chamber of Commerce. She will be the at-large appointment that I've already sent over to get confirmed by the legislature. And the third one, she is from Anderson, is Pamela Christopher. She's a lifelong businesswoman and advocate for the business community. And she serves as president and CEO of the Anderson Area Chamber of Commerce. So we have, again, for what I think is the first time, good, strong representation in an area that is vital to the future of the state and to the region, and that is that I-85 corridor. So we now have someone from Greenville, someone from Spartanburg, and someone from Anderson, and that will give plenty of opportunities for input and conversation and education. And so I would urge all that are interested in those things to be sure to keep those people in mind when you're riding down the road and you have some ideas. Next thing is the unemployment, the virus, as you know, we're in a region that is doing better economically than the rest of the country, most of the rest, but we've really suffered a lot of blows, a lot of it on the supply chain and things of that nature that are way out of our control. And we took a very cautious and deliberate approach on restricting activities. And rather than trying to develop an essential, non-essential, and all of that entails, we focused on those areas, those activities, those types of businesses that would likely be the places where the virus could be the quickest and most easily spread. And those are restaurants and barbershops, beauty salons, as well as a lot of activities. And we went in softly and deliberately, and we put together a group called Accelerate SC that had 30 members from every vocation that you could want to have on a committee like that, from academia, from education, from business. And their recommendations were the ones that we followed. They met and worked for over a month. But, and we're still following those recommendations, and we think that the course we're taking now is working. But the one thing that the legislature has already done is taken $500 million from the virus money, you remember the 1.9 billion CARES Act, and put that directly into the unemployment insurance fund. When we started the virus, in March, we had about $1.1 billion there. Since then, of state money in that, it's all state money. We spent over 800 million, maybe 900 million. Some has come in tax money during that time. And as I say, we put in 500 million. So that unemployment insurance fund, which is paid by the businesses of our state, is almost up to where it began, about maybe 100 million or so short. But of course, we're going to be drawing on it from now on. So what we are attempting to do is to be sure that the legislature agrees that we should put some more of that CARES Act money into the unemployment insurance fund so the businesses won't have to make up the difference. in their discussions. We had 500 million last time. I'd like to see 500 million this time. Their discussions of 450, 420. But I can assure you that that is something that's on everybody's mind. Our unemployment rate is now 8.6%. That's too high. That's better than some states. It's not as good as some others. We have something around 211 people, 211,000 people that are out of work. But what we're going to do, we notice from the way the CARES Act funding has been done and the way the businesses have suffered and struggled, is a lot of the small businesses need some help that have not been reached by this act. So we go buckle down and do as much as we can to see that from the money that we have left, that the PPP loans that went out to the SBA, through the SBA, and there was a lot of that. The figures are quite something. I mean, it was up in the, I've got it here somewhere, I'll read it in a minute, but we want to supplement that. There are a lot of small businesses, very small businesses, that either did not or could not apply for some reason. So we want to have some grants to go to them out of the next expenditures of that CARES money, which the legislature will be discussing when they come back next week. And we're hoping to have some $10,000 grants or things of that nature, again, that will focus on small businesses that need it and were unable to get it before. We're hoping that if we use our heads and are very careful in applying these monies, and as well as trying to remove obstacles that are holding us back on getting back on track, that we'll be able to come out of this very well. One thing we did, we eliminated the requirement of taking the test that nurses have to take in order to go to work in the hospitals and other places. Our Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation issued a certificate that allows them to work without having finished that last step, because we need them right now. As you know, the hospitals were about 6 weeks or 2 months ago were quite concerned of the unavailability of nurses and people assistants to work in the hospitals, and we were really concerned about that, but we took some steps, and we think that's happening. That has helped. We also, by the way, I don't want to forget, I had asked the legislature, and it was on track to happen, I put it in my executive budget for $19 million for the Greenville Cultural and Arts Center. Bo Autry and Phil Hughes and others in Greenville. By the way, Bob Hughes was on Accelerate SC with us. They've done a good job of convincing people of the need for that. And so I'm going to put that again in my executive budget, and we hope we can get that money up there. That's very important. Another thing we're doing is the nursing homes. It's been a heartbreaking necessity to have the visitation limited to almost zero. We did allow, according to the advice from all sources, for end-of-life visitations, but we are aware of the hardship, we're aware of the impact that lack of visitation has for a lot of different reasons, as you all know. So we instructed 2 weeks ago DHEC to provide a plan. They have done that. It was announced last week. It's being implemented now to open up those nursing homes to visitation, and we hope to allow more and more as we go forward. On Sunday, we had the first big NASCAR race with people in the stands, and they had about 8,000 over in Darlington, all according to the plans that they've submitted, and we hope that will be a good model for other kind of events that go forward. We want to try to get back to business as usual as quickly as we can, although we know we have to follow the advice that we all know very clearly by now. Wash your hands, wear your mask, keep that social distance, all of those things. If you're sick, go home. And we have ample testing all around the state. But South Carolina's business is business. And we know that. And the quicker we can get back to business and get people working, the better we will be. So I can assure you that the upstate will be well represented on the Transportation Commission. I assure you that we are aware of the work that's been done by Mayor Knox White and others, good work in Greenville. And that's been a model for some other places as well. But we want to work together and communicate, collaborate, and cooperate and see that we get the children in the schools. We know the dislocations that causes when they can't be in the schools. We want to get them in the schools. We want to get the businesses operating and have the confidence of the people that they can go out and be safe and get back to business as quickly as possible. So with that, I'll be glad to entertain some questions.
Governor McMaster or Kathy McAfee is going to be fielding questions and relaying them to you. Kathy's going to be with us in just a second.
Thank you. Thank you. So just a few ground rules for the Q&A. We have had some questions that have been submitted ahead of time, but you are welcome to pop questions into the chat box and we will field them in between. Please remember we are a nonpartisan organization, so let's steer clear of the muddy waters, but we have this great opportunity to hear from our governor on the issues that matter most to us. So Governor, our first question is regarding voting. We understand that the Senate in South Carolina just agreed and voted to allow mail-in voting or absentee voting without requiring a special reason or excuse for doing so. And that the state will also send those ballots out with prepaid postage for absentee ballots. So that's all a great step for free and fair and safe elections. But in speaking, just checking my information today and speaking to one of the election offices, I understand the House needs to pass the bill and you need to sign it. So the question, Governor, will you, understanding there is a huge timing issue here, timing is of the essence, will you do your best to encourage the House to swiftly get that bill on your desk, and will you sign it to allow all of us, should we choose to vote by mail this election?
Well, that's an absentee voting. There's some mail-in voting in some other areas. This is absentee voting, which we're very familiar with and has worked very well in South Carolina. You are correct. The virus has posed some special emphasis on that. But right now there are 3 lawsuits pending on that. The Senate has passed that bill. The House is studying that. We all need to be very careful about the comments that we make while we have not 1, not 2, but 3 lawsuits pending right now. So we realize this is a very important matter, and I will do all I can to be sure that we have safe, secure, and professionally run elections. And I'm confident that the House and the Senate together with their deliberations will be able to produce a plan that will work for South Carolina.
Very good. One follow-on question for those people who do prefer to vote in person. Are you, in the spirit of safety during this time of COVID-19, will you consider mandating statewide that masks be worn while voting? Will you provide them for people who don't have them? And will you require your election poll volunteers to wear masks?
Well, anyone can wear one that wants one. And as you know, there are all sorts of institutions, people, and promotions to remind people to wear masks. But to require someone to wear a mask to vote would be unconstitutional. That would be restricting their right to vote. So that's something that we can't do. But I'm confident that there will be a lot of emphasis on being safe at the polls. And I think we'll have a good, in South Carolina, I think we can handle it very well.
Okay, one of the just creative suggestion to plant in your brain, one of our Rotarians suggests, rather than those really cool stickers that you give out, I voted, which some people collect, by the way, and hold in great pride, why not distribute I voted masks as the thank you gift? Just an idea for you to think about. Okay, our second question is about policing. Context. As a reaction to the recent murders of George Floyd and other Black and brown Americans at the hands of police, there's been a national outcry to defund the police, quote unquote. Governor, two questions for you. Do you believe we should take measures to reduce funding for our police departments and redirect them to other supportive services? And secondly, what are your plans for making policing more just for all people in South Carolina?
Well, I can tell you, having served as U.S. Attorney with law enforcement, and that's FBI, DEA, Customs Patrol, Internal Revenue Service, and also as Attorney General in this state, 4 years, and then eight years. I've gotten in it as a practicing attorney for a lot of years, gotten to know the law enforcement in this state very well. And I can say with confidence that there's no better law enforcement establishment in the United States than we have in South Carolina. We are lucky to have the people that we have. So I don't think the answer is to defund the police. I don't think that the police officers themselves are paid enough for what they do. You got to remember, I get up in the morning, I put on a tie, but our police officers get up and put on a bullet. It's not bulletproof, but it is a bullet resistant vest. And some of them in New and Richland County with Sheriff Locke, they had some money to, I didn't realize it, but that bullet resistant vest, which is heavy and goes all the way around, will not stop a rifle shot. So some of the officers wear an additional vest. Now that's just a reminder of the danger that they face every day. They never know what's happening. So I'm very much supportive of good, strong, innovative policing. Now, we have a great criminal justice academy. It's statewide for everyone. And we are one of the few states that have such an institution. The more training, the more education, the more equipment that we can give our law enforcement officers at every level, I think is the way to go. And our first responders are terrific. They run into burning buildings. They run into situations they don't know what they're going to see. They're stopping cars at night in the middle of a dark night. And so I have enormous respect for law enforcement, but I know that the more training, the more education, the better equipment, and the better collaboration we have among our agencies will make us stronger. When you need the police, by golly, you need the police, and you want them there, and you want them to be ready and able to do the job.
Thank you, Governor. You
Yes.
brought up earlier unemployment insurance, and we have a question from the floor today, just now in the chat box. There's been an executive order to ask that immediate unemployment checks go out to the tune of $400 a week, but they are requiring that the states contribute to that amount. Question, how will that affect you, your decision-making, South Carolina, and our unemployment insurance?
Now, we've already made that decision. That is from the Trump administration, and we had a choice of $400 for just a number of weeks until the money runs out. This was taken out of another fund. Of $400 a week to add to unemployment for our people, of which we would have to then pay back $100 or just $300 a week that we could distribute and not have to. So we asked for the $300, and that has been accepted by the administration, and it takes time to adjust the computers to have all that go through, and that is in process now with the Department of Employment and Workforce. Danny Elsie is the director of that. They know how to do it, and we unlike some other states, our computer system at the Department of Employment and Workforce is new and has a much greater capacity than in some other states. Even though, to digress for a minute, when the virus hit and all the unemployment began, we were working around the clock and bringing in hundreds of extra people trying to just keep up. But I think we were able to do it better than a lot of other states because we had new and better equipment. We had some real pros over there working. Department administration went and helped the Department of Employment and Workforce. The whole team was on the field, and we got through it.
Very good, thank you. The next question is about education and funding for education and the implications for some of our poverty issues or poverty-stricken schools. So you probably heard in the opening that our Rotary Club supports Alexander Elementary School, which actually has the highest poverty rate of any elementary school in Greenville County. And we've been supporting them in many ways, from masks to books to teacher support to food, but they have many other unmet needs. So recently, Governor, you pledged 65% of the governor's emergency education relief federal funds under the CARES Act to be allocated to the private school system in South Carolina, which supports a total of 5,000 students thereabouts. Meanwhile, we have 750,000 students that were relying on public school system. And on top of that, 1 in 5 children in South Carolina live in poverty. So you can do the math on that, but the essence of this question from our anonymous Rotarian, Governor, would you reconsider and give 100% of the coronavirus Governor Emergency Fund relief funding to the children who we believe need it most, the ones enrolled in our public school system?
Well, some of those details are a little bit off. This money did not go to the private schools. It's to the parents who pay the tuition to go to those schools. And it was, I think it was, how many millions was it? 35 million. But what we know is that we have about 750,000 students in the public schools and about 50,000 in the private schools. And a lot of the people that have chosen, and then we have people who are teaching at home, that is homeschooling as well. And some of the public schools, of course, are charter schools. But a lot of the CARES money, huge amounts of CARES money went straight to the Department of Education and Superintendent Spearman to go to the schools, to go to the public schools. And what we have done in order to help those public schools open is pledge to any personal protective equipment that they need, that we will provide for them at no cost. But back to the 35 million out of the 50 for the private school tuitions for those students that choose to go there, those families have been impacted as well by the virus. There are a lot of those families that are working 2 jobs just like everyone else to send their children to that particular school, which is the school of their choice. And a lot of the private schools do a great job in providing the kind of education that those children need. So they need help just as much as anyone else. And that is but a fraction of the money coming into our state to go to education, a small fraction.
We understand that this issue is tied up in a lawsuit, and a follow-on question from another Rotarian is, do you think this issue will be resolved by the end of 2020, the end of this calendar year?
I think so. And see, as a result of that lawsuit, I had set aside several $1 million to go to our historically Black colleges and universities, and that has been put on hold because of this lawsuit as well. I think the lawsuit is missing the point. I hope the judges see it that way, but my point is we got to educate all the children in South Carolina. I know as well as I'm sitting here that is the answer. A good education is like magic. It's like a miracle. That is the way that our state is gonna get ahead, get more. We're ahead. We're doing some things here in our state they would love to be doing in others, but they can't do them because people don't talk to each other and they don't know each other and they won't communicate, collaborate, and cooperate. But education is the key. You have to have jobs. You have to be educated to have the jobs. In order to have the jobs be developed, you have to have people who are educated and trained that can do them. Our Ready SC program and our technical colleges are fantastic. Our research universities are entering into collaborations with businesses all over the place. We really have a lot of things going for us. And these business leaders that I speak to from around the world like South Carolina for a whole lot of reasons, but the main one is because of the people. They say we're a handshake state, we're smart, determined, loyal, and we'll work. And if we can educate the children If we can educate the children, then we can keep on that trajectory. But that means all the children, not just some of them.
Just one other comment from the chat box, notation that these private school parents, they can make up to $75,000 to receive this extra money from this CARES Act. So I think the point being is there's a lot of families that are in much more dire financial need, and they happen to be in the public school system. So just a point, and one other invitation, when you are next in Greenville, when it's safe to come and visit, we would love to take you to Alexander Elementary School and just have you see the place that we support. I think you will fall in love with it as well. Okay.
I appreciate that invitation, and I accept, and we'll do it as soon as we can. With the more excitement in these schools, and that's just exactly what we need. If the whole key to education is to awaken the imagination of these young people, and if we can do that, then they're ready to learn. And with the kind of culture and the kind of people that we have, I think that we can go right to the top.
A question about infrastructure, as you opened with that. One of our Rotarians is a huge cycling fan. She might even be, or this person might even be sporting that wear today. She is very concerned about the condition of our rural roads. Sounds like we put together a committee to work on the large highways. Who can we as Rotarians contact to advocate for the repair of rural roads for biking, for walking, for baby strollers?
You can start with your county council, but I would say to get educated on which roads are county and which ones are state and all of that, I would recommend that you call the Department of Transportation and get briefed and go from there. A lot of the local roads are not within the jurisdiction of the Department of Transportation.
That is true. That is true. Okay, a question about immigration, and particularly about DACA or the Dreamers. The DACA students or Dreamers are charged currently out-of-state tuition fees to go to college in South Carolina when they live in South Carolina. And our person who submitted this did some research and found that in House Bill 4040, which was signed by Governor Sanford in 2008, does not actually specify that situation in terms of they having to pay out-of-state fees. So it's a two-part question. One, can we allow our DACA residents who pay taxes and contribute to the knowledge and the economy here in South Carolina, can we give them the benefit of paying in-state tuition? And can we be more supportive? Apparently there's 40 other states in the US that are more supportive of the DACA children than South Carolina, which has been deemed a restrictive state by ULEAD Network, which is a university advocacy group. So that's the question about Dreamers, college. Can we give them in-state tuition to make it fair and reasonable for them? And how can we support them more to be part of our community?
I'd have to verify what that act says. I'd have to verify that. But in-state and out-of-state tuition, you're speaking of higher education, I presume.
Yes, we are, sir.
That is a subject of always a constant subject of study, analysis, and negotiation by our universities, of which we have great ones. I would like to hear their side of that story, their insight on that. But I can say we want to educate our young people. We want to re-educate or further educate those who are not so young anymore. And that is the key to not only to our future in South Carolina, but the future of this country. If we ever get behind the others, then if our education forms our economic strength forms our security in the world, and we must be educated. So I know that I'm not alone in this. There are many, many people across the state that are doing the best they can to see that we educate all the young people.
Mm-hmm. Well, in that spirit, it would be good, maybe as a follow-on action for you to inquire about why it is we are charging out-of-state tuition for in-state DACA dreamers? And can we make it easier and more affordable so that they can pursue education, which, as you just told us, is the key to building a great life?
Well, I love questions. That's a good one.
All right, excellent. So we have time for one more question. I'm going to take it from the chat box today. How can South Carolina support expanded primary health care for disease prevention and intervention for all persons in our state?
Well, one way is with the expansion of the internet to our rural areas. In the urban areas, the availability of advice, counseling, and medical and health care is fairly available, but in the rural areas, it is not. And there are many of us that are working with some of these CARES Act funds to use that part of that to support the expansion of the network for education that we must have with the young people right now. A lot of tablets and things that the children who do at home are using and being paid for with that money. But we need to develop and understand that we have to have a system that reaches everybody. And when we can do that, you can have telemedicine. Our hospitals, I know MUSC is a leader in the United States on telemedicine, telehealth. If we can do that, that would be maybe the most important thing that we can do to make our population more healthy. Because a healthy population can go to work and they're happy. And when you have people that are sick, of course, that puts a lag on the economy. So that's another part. Education and work, they go together. Good health is essential to that. And there are many, I know your club be happy to know that there are many conversations and negotiations going on at this moment about how we get the health care out of those rural areas. We've done that with the testing. We have mobile testing set up by the National Guard for the virus, and they're going all over the place. They have, seems like about 10 or 12 mobile sites a day they set up. You drive through in a tent and you get tested while you're in there. Everyone's expanding. The universities are expanding their healthcare outreach and protocols for the students, and we're working with them. Healthcare is important. It's the top of the list.
Awesome. Thank you, Governor. If our Rotarians want to reach you or your office for more questions, concerns, or possibly ideas, how would they best do that?
What's the best place?
734-2100.
734-2100.
What's that?
803-734.
Oh, that's a telephone number.
That's right.
Okay, excellent. 803, there we go. All right, so we just popped in the chat box that number as well as your address if they want to send you something with a stamp on it, which I know would help the postal system.
That's the best way to put it in writing.
Okay, awesome. And the website. We thank you very much. Over to you, President Jane.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Government Master, so much for your time and your answers and updating us on all these very serious issues that are going on in South Carolina and how we're addressing all of them. So just thank you again for your time. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you to all our Rotarians who helped with the program today. I hope to see you either this Saturday at the park cleanup or the following Saturday at the Happy Feet. Once again, you can donate online at greenvillerotary.org. And now we have matching donation from Christine's husband. And I forgot to say earlier that today is Rotary International Literacy Day. And our club, you can take pride in that we do have several literacy projects, and we all are supporting that effort. As we conclude today, let us all say together the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a good day. Take care. This meeting is adjourned.